You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something on which you later will rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand?
Yep.
Okay, so my intention at this time is to take you to Exeter Police Station, where you will be put into custody. The reason for that is for an prompt and effective investigation of the offence and to confirm your identity and your name and address.
Right. Okay, well, I'll play my ace now.
Go on then.
Tesco's head office already said they'll accept these coins.
Okay.
The fact that they haven't gone round and told
A heated and almost surreal standoff erupts at a Tesco petrol station. A driver insists on paying for his fuel with a 100 commemorative coin, sparking a tense debate with both staff and police. The officer, after checking legislation, repeatedly asserts that while the coin is technically legal tender, the shop is not obliged to accept it, drawing comparisons to refusing a £50 a note for a penny sweet, or even the absurdity of only accepting Pokemon cards. The driver, calm but relentless, argues the coin's legitimacy, citing the Royal Mint and legal precedents, and refuses to fill out a civil recovery form or provide personal details, insisting he has the means and the right to pay. As the conversation spirals, the officer's reasons for escalation shift, from payment refusal to failure to provide details, to suspicion of intent to make off without payment. The driver points out the contradiction. He hasn't left, he's offered payment, and prior similar cases ended with no action. Tensions mount as both sides accuse each other of making up rules, with the driver hinting at an ace up his sleeve and the officer threatening arrest. The situation teeters between farce and drama, with legal nuances, shifting justifications, and the looming question, is this a simple payment dispute or a test of principle and power? The outcome hangs in the balance, leaving viewers eager to see who will prevail and what unexpected twist might come next. Watch the whole clip, and please support this auditor by subscribing to his channel. The link is in the description.
Right, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is what's going to happen. Okay, so you've done your bit checking on legislation, I've just checked on my legislation. As I said to you, the shop does not have to accept it just because it is legal tender. You said it's legal tender, you are correct, however it is a commemorative coin. On the internet they're worth about 20 quid.
Well,
right, so here is what is going to happen. Either you are going to pay for your fuel correctly, or you are going to fill out their civil recovery form so that you can arrange to make payment at a later date, or I'm going to arrest you for bilking.
what's bilking?
Bilking, making off without payment. You've got to the point where payment is due, you're now refusing to make payment, therefore I will treat it as a criminal offence. So how would you wish to proceed at this point?
Well, I have got means to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not going to fill out a civil recovery form, as you
Okay,
put it.
right, so what's the means that
What
you're
was the
going
option
to pay?
2?
So option 1
Yeah.
is either you pay, option 2 is you fill out the form, option 3 is that you get arrested.
Well, I'll pay.
No, you pay with legal tender that they will accept.
That is legal tender.
No, they don't have,
But if this is a £50 note and he said, oh, look, we don't accept £50 notes because there's lots of forgeries,
Exactly.
would you be doing exactly the same thing now?
Yes, so
That
if
thing-
you go into a corner shop and try and pay for a penny chew with a £50 note, they are perfectly within their rights to refuse that sale.
Yeah, of course they are, but this is different because...
No, it's not different.
No, it is.
You have offered a form of payment that they will not accept. The principle is exactly the same.
Well, if you arrest me, it'll be a wrongful arrest.
Yeah? It's not. It's a lawful arrest because I've explained the situation and I've explained that I believe you're doing this for
Are you a
dishonest
sergeant
reason.
or an officer?
I am a sergeant.
Right.
Okay?
I reckon...
So, my point is also that coin is not worth the face value of it. It's not legal tender in such a way that this shop has to accept it as being valued at £100.
Okay, so,
So
it
either
has...
way, you're
hang on,
way
it has...
short of the mark.
No, I'm not. So, it is got a face value of £100, so it is worth £100.
It's not.
Well, you say that, but the Bank of England, the House of Commons, the state, all the institutions that came before you say it is, right? But you say it isn't, right? Now you say it's only worth whatever you say it was. Interestingly, I don't know if you've looked at the price of silver, but that's probably worth about £48 in silver. Hang on, I haven't finished yet. So that's £48 in silver.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, how much is a £20 note or a £50 note worth in plastic? What, a penny or two? Right, so this has got a face value of £100. It's got the legislation that makes it worth £100.
Yeah.
Right, they've offered that I can take services and then pay for it afterwards, which is called invitation to treat. Yeah, I'm offering to pay with a coin of the realm.
No, you're offering to pay with a coin that they're not willing to accept. Therefore, the onus is on you to make alternative payments, arrangements to make payments.
I don't think so. I think that's incorrect.
Okay, that's fine.
But I reckon before you arrest me and waste my time, you ought to check to make sure it's not an unlawful
can I have
arrest.
another unit, please. This chap's about to be arrested.
But it'd be unlawful arrest.
It's not a wrongful arrest.
It would be a wrongful arrest. Well, how can you arrest somebody for refusing to pay when they're offering to pay with a coin of the realm?
Because you're not offering to pay with payment that they can accept or will accept or have to accept. No.
Now, interestingly, you said that you've done some research on this, and I've done this before.
Yeah.
Well, what was the outcome of it last time?
It was no further action.
Why was that then?
I don't know.
Well, how come you've
But
got a
that
record
doesn't
of
mean
that?
I'm about
and-
to let you drive off from here.
Well, how come you got a record that I did it last time, but you haven't got a record of the outcome?
Why? Because I haven't got time to look at that right now.
But you have got time to arrest me and deal with all the paperwork that'll
Yep.
be involved in that.
Yep.
So that's just abusing your power, I think,
No,
because
it's
what you're
not.
trying to do
It's
is
using
you're...
my power proportionally. These people here are trying to run a business, and you are making life extremely difficult
No,
by
I'm
being
not.
obstructive in how you're going to pay.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm not fearful of arrest at all.
Okay, that's fine. So what has now become what was going to be a perfectly routine trip to a petrol station is now going to take you hours.
So you can't make up rules as you go along.
I am not making up the rules. You're the one that's trying to make up the rules.
I'm not.
I've explained to you that this business does not have to accept what you are offering as legal tender. Just because it's legal tender, they do not have to accept it. You've agreed to my analogy of the penny chew for £50 note, and this is exactly the same.
No, it's not. There's a
It
difference,
is.
right?
You are
I'll tell
offering
you
them
where.
legal tender that they are not willing to accept.
No, I'll tell you where the difference is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now if I'd eaten the penny chew, right, I'd
Yeah.
have to pay for it, wouldn't I?
Well, you've just taken the fuel. You
Yeah,
can't
in the
give it
same
back
way
now,
as the.
can you?
Well, you can't
So
give back
you
the
have
penny
to pay
chew
for
that
it.
you've eaten either, can you?
No.
Right, so let's keep that analogy working then.
Okay.
Right now, then, if I offered the £50 note,
Yeah.
right,
They
would it
still don't have to take it.
would it be theft if I don't come up with another way?
Yeah.
I don't think so,
Okay. Well,
because I'm offering a coin.
I'll tell you what. I am only here to enforce the law. I'm not here to decide. I just suspect that an offence has taken place. Okay. So I'm not convicting you, and you're refusing, to cooperate with me any further. You're refusing to resolve this situation by giving these people your details. So therefore, you
No, I don't,
give me
because
no
what
option
you're
but
trying to
arrest
encourage
you.
me to do is not to give them my details,
Yeah.
but to fill out a legally binding form. You're actually encouraging me to fill out a legally binding
Absolutely.
form,
Yeah.
right? That would be detrimental to me.
Why? Because you have to pay for your fuel just like everybody else
No.
in this petrol station.
No, because you're forcing me not to use cash. It's exactly the same as
No,
you.
I'm forcing you to provide the legal tender that this business is willing to accept.
But it's not for them to pick and choose. Which,
It is,
which
absolutely.
No, it's
if,
not.
If they will only accept payment in Pokemon cards, that is entirely up to them.
yeah, but they need to state that on the pump, right?
Yeah.
When I take the fuel, they need
You
to
and
say
I
payment
both know you
only
are
in
trying to pull
Pokemon.
a fast one,
I'm
don't
not trying to. What
Yes,
do you think?
you are.
What do you think I'm
So-
trying to achieve then out of this?
So
Then?
why are you not willing to offer any other sort of payment? Do you have bank cards on you?
Maybe it's a matter of principle. This is a coin of the realm,
Yeah.
yeah, and they're the country's
Yeah, but
biggest
you're
retailer.
trying law that has been tested previously, and the case law is there for it. You've seen.
What's the outcome of the case
You've
law
seen the
then?
incidents before where people have gone and tried to pay their council tax in penny coins,
It's different.
and they've refused that. It's not different.
No, it's
at all.
because
people have still gone to pay their council tax in 1p coins. The council has refused that,
Yeah.
and it's been held that they can refuse that payment in penny coins. It's
Yeah, do you know
exactly
why?
The same scenario.
Yeah, because
sir.
do you remember we said at the beginning, right, that 1p's up to 20p, 2p's up to
Now, I'm
20p.
not arguing about whether it's legal tender or not. I completely agree with you on that. It is legal tender, so you can stop reiterating that.
No. That's why they refuse to accept the pennies for the council tax. It's because it's only legal tender up to 20 pence. But if you have to pay your council tax in pound coins,
Is they're not willing to?
then you shouldn't be threatening to arrest me because of their preference as to what type of note or coin they accept. That's ridiculous.
Right.
Because like that's not your job, is it, to state what type of coin that Tesco accepts or not?
It's
Surely
my job to make sure that you don't go past the point of payment without making
Well,
payment.
I haven't driven off, have I? I've got every intention of paying with this coin.
No.
If I had no intention, if I was trying to do something dishonest, I'd driven off, wouldn't I? But the fact is, I've waited here for you to come and I've discussed it with you. I've tried to explain it, being very civil. Don't be rude, have I? In any way. I've got no disrespect for the police whatsoever.
No.
Might go downhill a bit if you arrest me unlawfully.
Okay.
I just think, please, just check that it's a lawful arrest. I don't think it is.
I believe it is.
I don't think it is. And I've got an ace up my sleeve as well, which I'll pull out when the time
what's
comes.
the ace up your sleeve?
No, I'm not pulling that out. As I don't see why I should have to spoon feed Tesco the specific legislation as to what's lawful and what's not, and neither should I have to spoon feed the police as to what's lawful and not. It's for you to police the laws that you know are factual, not to go kind of picking laws willy-nilly and then trying to arrest people basically under threat, because that's what you're really trying to do,
My point
make me fearful
is that
of
the
you.
shop is not legally obliged to accept your coin.
They are.
So the onus is on you.
They are.
No, they're not.
They
I
are.
don't know where you've read your law from, but you are wrong, my friend.
They are, because listen, the whole point of cash and legal tender is that you cannot be successfully prosecuted for non-payment if you've offered legal tender. So if I had Scottish notes, right, now they're not legal tender in the UK, they're not legal tender full stop, but Tesco's actually accept those, right?
Well, as I said, it's up to them as a business. If they will say we will only accept Panini football stickers for payment for fuel, they can. That's how. When they give you club card vouchers and stuff, that's how.
You don't collect these stickers, do you?
No, I don't. I know, but you see how
I know what you're saying,
so
sir.
if this gentleman says, right, you can pay for your fuel with 10,000 club card points or whatever it is, they can do that. Just as they can say, although that coin is legal tender, we will not accept payment, and the onus is on you to make alternative means.
I don't disagree with you completely, right?
Okay.
Because you're completely right. If we was in the store,
the fact that we're here is
no, it's different, because the difference is that there was an invitation to take the fuel, and I've taken the fuel, and now I've got a debt, and I'm offering to pay the debt in legal tender. Now in the store, it's different because I haven't taken the food, have I? In fact, if I'd have eaten the food, I'd be obligated to pay for it, and then it'd be the same scenario, just the same as if you went into a restaurant and had a meal, and then you have to pay afterwards, and you offered to pay in that. Well, they can't lawfully have you prosecuted for failure to pay if you've offered a reasonable means of payment and they've refused to accept it.
Yeah, but you've refused to identify yourself to this person.
Well, I don't need to, do I?
Yeah, because you need to arrange to settle the payment.
No, because that it's just filling out that form, isn't it? Which is a no means to pay form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not prepared to do that. It's private.
Okay.
Because
so
I could give you my name and address, but
my police officer's head on.
Yeah.
I'm now starting to view your actions as being dishonest.
How
so
have I been dishonest?
I suspect an offence is going to occur.
How have I been dishonest?
Because you're refusing to give your information to this gentleman, so that.
But he's not entitled to my information, is he?
He is.
Okay, if I told you what my...
because you have a debt to settle up with him.
This is...
So to go to the restaurant scenario, if you ate your meal and then said, "Oh, I've forgotten my wallet, I've got no means of paying."
Oh, no means of paying.
Yeah. Okay. So at that point, you're not being dishonest. At the point that you refuse to identify yourself, or you put Mickey Mouse, care of Disney World, on a piece of paper and say, "Here's my details." You're then becoming dishonest.
What about if, like, we went to the restaurant, we had a meal, right, and then I pulled out a £50 note, and they said, "Look, we don't accept £50 notes."
Yeah.
Then
we get back to exactly the same scenario.
But it's not that they can't make a decision about refusing to accept the £50 notes when you owe them money. They can only refuse they can only refuse to go through with the transaction in the first place. It's only because you've had the goods and you owe a debt that they can't refuse to accept the money.
I think we're going round in circles now.
Well, I think we've covered everything pretty well.
Right, okay.
What he's saying is the opinion of Tesco's as a company as a whole.
No, it's not that he's right, it's that the Bank of England is right, and it's the Bank of England that states that the shopkeepers are not legally obliged to accept any royal tender.
Right, okay, I understand where you're coming from with that, but that's referring to buying something from a store, not for paying a debt.
Okay, it's still the same,
No, it's not.
same situation.
No,
okay.
it's not.
That's fine.
It's actually on the Bank of England website what legal tender is.
Yeah, it is. As I said, I have no argument with you about that at all.
Were you waiting for another unit then, are you?
Yeah, just doing that. Okay, so I'm arresting you on suspicion of making off without payment. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something on which you later will rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand?
Yep.
Okay, so my intention at this time is to take you to Exeter Police Station, where you will be put into custody. The reason for that is for the prompt and effective investigation of the offence and to confirm your identity and your name and address.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll play my ace now.
Go on then.
Tesco's head office already said they'll accept these coins.
Okay.
The fact that they haven't gone round and told every single branch, yeah.
So do you have proof of that?
Yeah, I do actually, but not with me.
Okay, if you give me the proof now, then this gentleman might view it differently, but unless you give me the proof right here, right now, you will be coming with us to custody.
Okay. Well, I've got a letter from head office, but it's at home.
Okay, well, in that case, this will be our part of the prompt and effective investigation of the offence.
Well, it'll be unlawful arrest, won't it?
No, not at all.
Right, where do you want me to park my
I
car
have the
then?
suspicion that you're about to commit an offence.
Well, what offence am I committing?
I've told you, I think you're about to make off without payment, and if I don't arrest you, then you will make off without payment. So there's my grounds.
Well, I'm offering to make
Can
payment.
you come out of the car, please?
Yeah,
sir?
stop, no.
Okay.
There's no use to use violence, is there?
No, well, step out of the car,
let me
please.
just get my affairs together, all right?
Okay. Oh, you dropped it.
Look, I'll take my keys out. all
Okay.
right? I've got to do my windows up as well, all right? I'll unlock the door.
No. I'll unlock the door.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. Right, you can take the coins with you?
Yep.
Okay.
So wait, he can change his mind.
Yeah, and he's refused to identify himself
No,
to
I
the
have-
police station. He's offered a £100 coin.
I'll take my driving licence. You haven't even asked me for my driving licence.
Do you want to provide your details, or are you going to go to custody?
Well, I'll provide my details to you.
Yeah, but do you want to provide them to this man here?
No, but you want me to fill out a legal document.
Yeah.
No, I'm not filling out a legal
Okay,
document.
out of the car then, please, sir. Right. Okay. I want to go with this chap here. Have you got anything on you sharp, anything that might hurt you or me?
No.
Okay. Right.
I'll just make sure I've got
You're just going to search, and the items here we're going to put in this bag for safekeeping. Okay? Just so we don't accidentally damage them or they don't fall out, just as that coin did in the car. Okay?
Okay, so you want to take them in the coins?
Sorry? Well, I don't want you to lose any of these bits and pieces, so if you put them in a bag, because they'll get taken off you when we get to custody. Okay?
Pop it all in that bag, alright?
I'll keep the coins.
Just means that
No, it's got everything's got to come
everything's
into
gonna come.
custody.
Is this on the log?
Switch it off.
Thank you for watching. Police using vague justifications to stop, question, or detain people without cause is a growing concern. Simply being in public is not a crime, and officers have no authority to demand compliance without lawful grounds. From intimidation tactics to unlawful ID requests and needless escalation, it's crucial to stand your ground and document every encounter. Recording is your right and your protection. Always ask questions. Challenge illegal orders. Never let your rights be brushed aside. Subscribe for real UK police accountability footage, first-hand encounters, and essential lessons on knowing and defending your rights. Stay informed, stay empowered, and never stop filming.